I'm still here at WWDC where Apple announced Apple Intelligence. This is their big AI play this year. This video is sponsored by Sofa. Let's get into it. Apple Intelligence is designed to help you in different ways throughout different apps. It's built right into the system. Apple Intelligence is launching on the iPhone, iPad, and Mac, and it's all for the M series chips and newer, and on the iPhone, it's the iPhone 15 Pro line. Now, it's not in the current beta, so if you go and download the dev beta of iOS 18, it's not there right now, but I have seen a demo of it. If it works as advertised, it has the potential to be the biggest productivity feature that Apple has ever put in any of their platforms. Now, the thing I'm the most excited about what this can do is it can help you with your type text. So you're writing, if you're writing an email or a script or a blog post or whatever, it can do a variety of different things. The most obvious thing that any AI should do is it can do spell and grammar checking. This is the thing I'm probably the most excited about because I am terrible at it. But then it can take it a step further and rewrite whatever you wrote into different contexts. So say you're sending an email and you're like, this isn't very professional. You can click a button, it will rewrite it in a more professional context. There's also a friendly context and a concise one, so it'll kind of summarize it up. So if you're one of those classic people like me that writes too much, this will condense it down a bit. Then on the flip side of things, when you're reading something, you can actually select a bunch of text and then have it summarize it for you, or just have it pull out bulleted points from the that text. I get a lot of emails that are just full of fluff. Like they are way too long and it takes forever for them to get to the point. So I'm really excited about just being able to highlight some text and be like, give me the summary or give me the key points of this email. Another thing that's really cool I'm excited about is Apple Intelligence will learn about your notifications. So it's going to learn to what you want to prioritize in certain instances and what's just not important, and it can lower it down and not show it to you in a given time. So for me, like messages from specific people, delivery apps, maybe even emails from certain people, those are high priority. I want to see those as soon as they come in. But then there's like group chats and stuff that I'm in that they're not as important. There's some apps that I like having notifications on, like my podcast player. I love having notifications on, so I see what new episodes of shows come up, but I don't need to know about that at the exact moment those shows hit the queue. This new system can summarize group threads. So if you have like a big messages group and it's just popping off and you're off doing something else and you weren't able to catch up, it will give you a summary of what happened, which is really nice because a lot of times I just give up on those. Reduce interruptions is a new focus mode, and it's a focus mode that kind of adapts to what you're doing and adapts to what's coming in. And I'm very excited about this. I'm a big focus user. I love it. I have a ton set up, and I'm wondering if this will take care of my less aggressive focus modes, like if I can get rid of those now. Because a lot of times I just don't want like certain app notifications coming in while I'm working and I'm trying to focus up. But I also have very aggressive focus modes that will only send me notifications for like my task manager and calendar and stuff like that. This is one of those things I'm really going to have to play around with to see how it works. Mail is getting some killer productivity features, like the ability to prioritize mail, newsletters in certain categories, mail that's just not important, put it in a deprioritized list, stuff like that. Like I'm legitimately excited for this update because I actually think it could be really killer. It reminds me a lot of SaneBox, but this will obviously have an LLM behind it, so I'm curious, like, will it be able to go further? Will it be able to learn? Will I have to, obviously I'll have to train it a bit, but once I train it, will I have to keep training it, or will it learn on its own? In Mail, there will be a specific button to summarize emails, so you could just hit that button and it'll summarize it. You don't have to ask Siri to do anything. You hit the button and it'll summarize it right away. In Mail, there will also be a new smart reply option. This is another one of those things that's really awesome. It's going to take all of the questions that are in an email and give you options. So you can just be like, here's the address I want something shipped to. Here's my phone number. Yes, I'll be attending. Yes, I need a car or whatever. And it will compose the email for you right away and just send it off. So you don't have to sit there and be like, okay, did I get every single one of the questions this person asked? Because a lot of times if I get a bunch of questions asked in an email, I don't answer them all. In the Notes and Phone app, you're actually going to have the ability to record audio now. And when it's recording, it'll actually transcribe that audio as well. So it'll take that spoken word audio and turn it into text. Then with Apple Intelligence, you'll have the option to summarize that text. So if you're sitting in a lecture or had a long meeting over the phone or something like that, you can get the key points out of it without having to go back and listen for an hour.
This video and all of my WWDC coverage is sponsored by Sofa. Sofa is a media tracking app that can help you keep everything you want to watch, read, or play all in one place. This way, nothing falls between the cushions. With Sofa, you can track movies, TV shows, games, books, and more. Sofa is extremely customizable. I set up a queued section for everything I want to watch, read, or play. Then a completed section for everything I have finished. Sofa also has built-in smart lists that take advantage of things like status, ratings, or even tags. I set up one that has all of my all-time favorite media in it. This is basically anything I rank 5 stars. Then another that is tagged family. This is stuff that I think would be good for me and my girlfriend to watch together. Then there is sections like the pile, logbook, and pinned. I love the idea of the pile. It's a place where if you hear about something, you can quickly add it. Then when you have a minute, you can organize it later. I'm using the pin section for things I'm currently watching, playing, or reading. This way, this stuff doesn't get lost in recommendations. It's incredibly quick to add media into Sofa as well. Sofa is the perfect app for having all of the media you want to consume in one spot. I know for me, if I don't write something down, it's gonna get forgotten about. Sofa is extremely flexible, so you can set it up just about any way you want. It has a ton of different themes and app icons. Sofa is completely free to download and try out. You can use the link in the description below to get 40% off an annual membership. My thanks to Sofa for sponsoring this video and all of my WWDC coverage.
Image generation is a part of Apple Intelligence. This is going to be baked into apps like Notes and Messages and Freeform and all that stuff, but there will also be a dedicated app as well for you to generate these images. This is actually the part I kind of feel the ickiest about when it comes to Apple Intelligence, because there's going to be people that try and use this in professional settings where they try and just use this instead of hiring an artist. And for me, I just launched a podcast you might have seen, Comfort Zone, link in the description below. And we hired an artist to do that show artwork, and I absolutely love that show artwork. It's fun, it's whimsical, it has emotion to it, and I have never once seen artificial intelligence artwork have any sort of emotion. It just looks bland to me. In fact, personally, I don't even like AI artwork. I don't like the look of it. It looks shiny and gross. It just doesn't have that emotion that real art needs to have. That all being said, put that to the side for now. I see the benefit of, like, you're just chatting with some friends or your parents or family or whatever, and you want to send over a funny image, but you don't have that image and you don't want to sit there and draw it out, or if you're like me, you don't have the ability to draw it out, you can just quickly ask Apple Intelligence to make that image and you can send it over and get a few laughs that way. Another part of generated images are generated emoji. You're now going to be able to create your own custom emoji. And I actually like this bit. This is the part of generated images I like, because Unicode has a cap in the amount of characters. So at some point in the future, Unicode won't actually be able to add more emoji. I don't know what that cap is. It could be 5 years, it could be 50 years, it could be 500 years, but there is technically a cap to Unicode. But also with this, people are going to be able to make their emoji, an emoji that is specific to them, you know, their hobbies, what they look like, that kind of specific thing, and that I am all for. Along with Apple Intelligence, Siri is getting a major overhaul. I'm very excited about this because what I have seen in the demos, it looks very impressive. Siri can now search the contents of apps. So say your friends recommended a TV show to you, like a bunch of friends through a bunch of different message threads have recommended a bunch of different TV shows, and you're sitting down and you want to watch something. You could be all, Siri, give me some TV recommendations, and it'll go through your messages, your email, whatever, it'll pull out all of those TV show recommendations. Or maybe it's recipes or restaurant recommendations or whatever. Like, it can do all sorts of different things here. You're also going to be able to search for really specific things. You're going to be able to, like, hey, give me that file that Oscar sent me last June. Maybe it was a PDF. And it'll pull up the files that Oscar sent you from last June, and maybe it was a PDF. Siri is going to be able to take action across different apps. This is going to be things like editing photos, sending emails that are sitting in your drafts, managing your calendar or notes, all sorts of different things. Now, this is going to be heavy in first-party apps at first. It is open to third-party apps, but it's based on domains, so it's going to be kind of limited at first. I believe in the current dev stuff, there's only 2 domains available, and it's going to be opening up to more. When talking to Siri, you're going to be able to correct yourself mid-command. So if you are asking it to set an alarm and you say 7 a.m. and you're like, nah, I should probably get up early to go to the gym, something I've never done, you can correct yourself and be like, no, wait, make it 5:30 or whatever. Or if you're, adding stuff to a calendar event, you're like, hey, I'm going to dinner with mom at 7. Oh, wait, no, it wasn't mom, it was Aunt Cheryl. You can also finally ask follow-up questions. So what this means is if you're like talking to Siri about a location, like, hey, give me restaurant recommendations in San Francisco, you can then just say, oh, what's the weather like? And it'll know you were talking about San Francisco in the previous command, so it'll pull up the weather for San Francisco, not in Cupertino, like where I'm at. Siri is aware of whatever is happening on your screen. This is something we kind of already have right now and like things like Quick Note and shortcuts, but it doesn't really work right. I'm hoping with Apple Intelligence it's getting fleshed out more. But basically what this will allow you to do is if there's contact information on the screen, you could just say, Siri, create a contact, and it'll know to pull the phone number or address or whatever out of there, grab the name, stuff like that. Or if you have like an event on your screen, you could just create a calendar event and it'll pull the calendar event from that and create a contact. Text to Siri is now enabled by default. It's no longer just an accessibility option. On the iPhone, you double tap down at the bottom where the kind of like the home bar is. You double tap on that. Same with the iPad. But also on the iPad and Mac, there's going to be a keyboard shortcut that I'm very excited about. So this means if you're in a public place like where I'm in right now, I feel really silly talking to a camera with a bunch of people around me. I wouldn't want to talk to Siri, but I could just trigger that keyboard command or just double tap there and type to Siri and have it do something. Siri has a bunch of access to stuff on the web now, and according to Apple's technical document about Apple Intelligence, it is now crawling the web. It is not asking for opt-in, which personally I think is a bummer. I don't like that. I think you should have to opt in because people are creating stuff for the internet. What is happening for all these blogs, people like me, a bunch of people out there, we're creating stuff for the internet and we're monetizing. It's how we make a living. It's not because we want to get rich off this stuff. It's how we pay our bills. So all of these AIs, including Apple Intelligence, is taking that stuff that we make and putting it into their Apple Intelligence. So it's showing results when you ask something like Siri for like, say, hey, when did the first iPad come out? It's pulling that search result from the web, but it's not linking to that website. I'm not, if it was something from like the Mac Stories blog, it's not going to Mac Stories anymore. It's just showing you the results. So they're not seeing that traffic. Their advertisers aren't seeing that. And that's hurting these kinds of websites in the long run. Publishers can opt out of this, but personally, I think this is something Apple should be going around to and licensing this information. I don't think it's something you should just be able to get for free without having to give arbitration and going to these websites. Now, some of this AI stuff will happen on device, which is absolutely great for privacy. I think 2 thumbs up for me on that. I'm happy that quite a bit of stuff is happening on device. But there is a server-side component to all AI stuff. When Apple Intelligence does go to the cloud, it uses Apple's private cloud compute. Now this silos what you're requesting. It doesn't keep any of your information. It doesn't record anything. It doesn't link your user profile to the stuff you're asking. Your user profile isn't even there. So I am happy to see that. I'm glad Apple's not taking this information you use Apple Intelligence for and training their model based off that. So I'm happy to see that there is a really strong privacy component to that. For stuff Apple Intelligence can't do, it can reach out to ChatGPT. I don't know how I feel about this. I'm glad that there's another way for it to reach out to another service when there isn't something there, but I really would have liked to have seen Apple Intelligence been full featured and them not have to work with another third party, because ChatGPT doesn't exactly have the best reputation right now. That being said, it will let you know every single time it's reaching out to ChatGPT. And if you're uploading an image or a document, say you wanted to summarize a document, or you have like an image of food, you want to be like, what recipes can you make out of this? Or what location is this? Or what can I do around here? Something like that. It will always ask, hey, is it okay if we send this to ChatGPT? And Apple's deal with OpenAI is basically, they are not allowed to store that information. They're not allowed to train their models off that information. And Apple's doing things like masking your IP address and stuff like that. So ChatGPT couldn't even link that to your user. Now, that being said, if you do want it to be linked to your user account, you will be able to sign into your ChatGPT account and use it that way. So that way your information is leaked, but that is an opt-in thing, not an opt-out. Personally, I will not be opting into that. I honestly, in the demos that I saw, I don't know what I will be going to ChatGPT for. It sounds like the kind of stuff I will want to use AI for, Apple Intelligence itself, not ChatGPT, because Apple Intelligence is its own models. It's its own thing. Just when it reaches out to ChatGPT and just when it tells you it's doing that, that's the only time it's using those models. Every other time it's just using Apple's models. I'm going to be curious to see how this works in the long run, and if at some point Apple's models can just fully take over and you don't need to go out to ChatGPT or some other service that Apple might work with in the future. Now, all of these features are free to use as long as you have the appropriate devices. Like I said, it's M series or newer iPads and Macs, and it's the iPhone 15 Pro right now. I'm sure the new iPhones in September will obviously support it as well. And what I appreciate is there are no features that are exclusive to certain devices. Like there's no just specific iPhone features or Mac features. All of the features are going to all of the devices. So this is Apple Intelligence. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. My thanks to Sofa for sponsoring this video. If you like it, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't already, and have a great day.